everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in the Four Keeps Beneath the Waves, part 15. That's right, I looked at what episode that we were on last time, and I increased the number by 1 instead of forgetting and proving to everyone online that I can't count higher than 12. Today is June 27th, 2022, and you are loved. That is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are being made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us on our Discord. The link can be found in the Twitch chat to the side or in the description of this video or audio cast down below. Again, join us on Discord. Hop in that questions for the courts chat, and we will do our best to respond to those questions first thing tomorrow morning when that post from our Patreon goes live. But you're probably thinking to yourself, didn't you say it's being made available for free? That's right, it's being made available for free under the public tag, so all you gotta do is just pop on by to that Patreon. You don't have to donate anything, don't worry about it. It's all being made for you guys. But let's say that you already support us on Patreon, you already support us on Twitch and Twitter and all of those other wonderful places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this fantastic show even more? Guess what, buddy? I got your back, quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks, and we also have the symbol of Tiamat upon a very fine face mask designed by our very own Cyberwolf1201, where all of the proceeds of our merch is currently going to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So hey RJ, who you playing today?
Hey everybody, my name is RJ, and today I'll be playing Caelum, the Shatterkai Wizard. We both go by he, him.
Hi, I'm LBHackEmUp. I know how to drink beverages, and I'll be playing Gwen, the Halfling Barbarian Fighter. We both go by she, her.
Boy, I'm Cider. I use he or whatever pronouns, and I play Arjhan. Arjhan is a draconian speedrunner. He, him.
Hey everybody, I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener. I'm going to be playing as... Danae Keener is she, her. I'm going to be playing as Coriander, the Eldrin Paladin, she, they, and he.
And I am the Indoor Adventurer, he, him, and tonight I shall be your Dungeon Master. So, last we left off, your group had successfully carved up and gotten into one of these strange grafted owlin, these figurative super soldiers that were being used by the Nightsworn, and discovered that the power source behind their elemental affinity came from these almost like shards of elemental energy, colloquially known as dragon shards, or at least that is what the use of your identify spell was able to get you. Later in the evening, Caelum decided that he was going to experiment with one of these, and in an attempt to make a definitely not lightsaber, realized he could make a magical grenade instead, so that's a fun thing that most likely won't ever get touched upon again. In that, and on your quest here, you also decided that you are going to do your best to stealth in to the base of the Nightsworn. The battle has begun, the Nightsworn versus the Bright Wardens, with your job, your objective, being to get to Tyliera's laboratory. After a successful skill challenge, which almost didn't seem challenging at all when I looked at the numbers again, with a series of like 20s, 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 you all were able to bypass enemy lines, no issue, until you actually got to the lab, and then there was a scuffle with one of these Owlin super soldiers. You alerted a silent alarm that seemed to have rung out, and then made your way further into the cave. It was at that point, at the cave entrance, that you saw a half-orc with a blue dragon's horn protruding from his head, a blue tiefling with these Ibex-style horns wearing a lab coat that looks awfully dirty. You saw what looked like a dragon, like an emaciated black dragon with glowing eyes of the undead variety, and you saw a woman with her back turned towards you. And as your group arrives, this woman turns, and you can see that she has a head of just frizzy black hair, an aquiline nose, and she is of a human variety and looks older. Like, at this point, you're guessing somewhere in, like, late 40s to 50s, but their group looks towards you all, and you can see that there is a look of, like, confusion and recognition by the tiefling wearing this dirty lab coat as they clock Caelum. And you hear this woman speak, and she says, I somehow knew it would be you. Arjhan, did you want to do anything in this brief moment before all hell erupts?
Before anyone does anything rash. Tyliera, would you like to talk?
Make a persuasion check.
Good. Okay. 7.
Okay.
Does forceful presence help?
It does if I call it,
Yeah.
but I didn't.
I'd say that you can use it if you want. Also, do you have your blood die roll for the day?
I had it rolled. I don't remember what it was. It was middling at best.
Okay, sounds good.
Let me double check forceful presence. It doesn't say if I have to call it before or not. So
I'd let
I'm
you
gonna
use
go
it.
ahead and
Yeah.
18.
An 18. So, Tyliera kind of squints her eyes looking at you as you say this. And she looks towards her group and says, "Do you boys promise to behave until I get back?" And Torjak, like, seems very, like kind of taken aback and, like, discovery, big smile on his face, like, what the fuck is going on? Torjak begins to ask, like, what do you mean talk? Like, they're clearly not, like, this is not what are you talking about? And she just kind of puts a finger up to him and just, I think it'll be okay. And she looks towards you and says, do you promise that you all won't kill my team if I adhere to these conversations? And can you guarantee my life for the time being?
Arjhan's gonna, like, look back at everybody. Do I need to bring y'all into the office with me?
Only if you want to.
I think no one noticed, but Caelum put on the owl mask and he's directly looking at Discovery. His head is, like, tilted to the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring y'all in with me.
You know what?
No,
I'm gonna stay out here. I'll be okay.
Like, the moment we were told, like, not to kill anyone, like, I think Cori would look to Caelum and he has the mask on. And Cori just looks back at Arjhan like, for the length of this conversation, I think we can promise that.
And she says, that's all I ask. It's been a while since we last caught up. I think it's deserving of at least.
I don't know you. I don't know you at all. As far as I'm aware, that this is me meeting you for the first time.
That's fair. To a degree, I don't know you either, so I think that's kind of saying something, doesn't it? Where do you propose we meet? You said you have a meeting.
I use not rope trick. I forgot what I named it in
Conference room.
a thing. But I'm summoning a war room.
Okay, sounds good. And you hear Agravain snarl from the back. This must be some sort of trick. Don't trust him. And she just looks back at him and says, to think that you would have so little faith in me after everything we've been through. I can handle myself. And if they do kill me, just eat the small one.
I'm very tough.
Tyliera says, you heard her, she's tough. And Agravain, like, snarls at this. And Tyliera just walks in. She has a very fine-looking quarterstaff about her. And she's wearing these very deep purple robes that are... They look old. They don't look like they have been refitted in some time, but almost like these are her comfy clothes to a degree. And she will follow you into this room. And you can see Caelum as you walk in behind Tyliera. That Discovery is just like eyes wide looking at you. And he will cast a spell. But he casts a wall of force around him, Torjak, and Agravain.
Arjhan will lead everybody into this conference room. It's especially laid out the same way that the other rooms had, except in the middle of the table is just like this just like stone table in the middle that has like a rudimentary like carved map of Tyliera.
Should I stay outside just to watch them?
You can if you want.
You want me with you?
I mean, I want us to cover our bases, but I want to do this right.
I can stand in the door.
You can see outside in the conference room.
Mm-hmm. All right.
You can't see inside.
You got it.
And there's a scraping sound as Tyliera pulls a chair and sits in.
But there's like this standing room there where there's like stools and chairs with backs around the map, around the war table. But then there's also just like chairs and stuff off to the side. But Arjhan sort of takes the side of the table opposite from Tyliera and just sort of gestures to whoever's staying in the room to go off to the side.
Cori will stand in the doorway.
Gwen stands on a table, like off to the side.
Cori can feel just this laser burning through the back of their skull as Caelum is trying to stare directly past them at Discovery.
And Discovery is just like looking at you, Caelum, and you see them mouth the word fascinating. They pull out a little journal and just start taking notes.
Oh.
But Tyliera is in this room.
Tyliera. take it you realize the Queen isn't happy.
I'm not really... So this isn't a happy reunion. I understand that she might be a little upset, but I don't think that that's best directed at me. I'm doing what she wanted.
You are contorting the corpses of a nation's people into abominable facsimiles of her creations. Or even more blasphemous, in her eyes, twisting the few of her children that remain into shapes that they were not meant to be.
I didn't exactly have other options, to say the least. It was either do this or die, and I wasn't exactly going to throw everything that I've worked for away.
And what is it exactly that you've worked for?
She extends a hand out towards you. The second coming. An age of dragons. They've all been locked away. They've all been hiding on the other side of the gates after the Queen of Ravens tore the sky asunder. It's been my goal to bring them back in the image of the Queen. I'm sure there's been some mistake. I'm doing what she asks.
Well, she's commanded that I deliver you to her if I found you. And I'm sorry to say, you've made yourself incredibly difficult to overlook.
Well, at least I got her attention then. Alright, so she wants to talk with me, and you're speaking on her behalf? Is that how that's going to work out?
I mean, she's only given me one direct way to send you to her. But I'll be very clear. You are not my priority here. Something terrible threatens us all, has already lain waste to 2 great cities in Tyliera. We've repelled it twice there and once in the domain of Elstree, but I think it may be targeting the same waystone that you and your friends are moving on.
I'm sorry, what's a waystone? Like the big rock things?
Yes. That what? Is that not your target?
No, I don't have a target.
Then what are you doing here?
Like I said, it is... I came here because I read the secrets in the stones, the secrets in the shards. We later used them to fuel the Night Sworn's army. Stupid name, if you ask me. But I can read them. I've been reading them ever since I was young. Been following them. And they led me here, to this place. And this is where I thought that finally, now that I'm not fighting for my life necessarily, I could do what the Queen has always wanted. To build an army, yes, and perhaps the Owlin weren't exactly the soldiers that she was looking for, and they aren't the soldiers that I would prefer that she have. But I have been trying to rebuild my notes, to get all the information that I have back together so I can do what I've always been meant to do. Just serve the queen. This talk of waystones falling waste to major cities, I must apologize, but I'm not entirely sure what you're speaking of. Not a lot of outside news gets brought up here.
What are the other two getting out of this partnership?
Torjak has been my associate and assistant for the last 2.5 decades. As for the tiefling, he's weird. I'll give him that. But when Agravain came to us looking for assistance, Torjak said that he recently discovered a friend, or had a friend, who knew a thing or two about soul manipulation. So we figured we found an intact body of a dragon. We just needed a way to pair the two. That's where he came in. All he wants, it seems, is to just experiment. He doesn't have any goals necessarily. He seems joyous whether he's successful or if he fails. So if it's to speak to the queen that you want, I will speak to her. But I have done nothing wrong.
Wait, you're just mutating the people of a nation and having them wage war on other tribes for
What
you have no goal.
My goal is to bring draconic forces back to the plane, to return them to their draconic might, to see the rise of the Dragon Kings once more.
Okay, if you are, if you will come with us willingly, my associate Caelum can bring us to her directly. You can explain this to her. I'm sure in a way that's better than what you explained it to me.
If you have a means of granting me a direct audience, then yes. Is she really that upset with me?
Yes.
I thought she would be happy.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the phrase is, you done fucked up.
Yes, Caelum.
sorry, just like Miss Tyliera, several questions actually.
Yes, I don't know your name, but if you wouldn't mind at least giving me that much, then I'd know who I'm addressing.
Caelum, sorry. I know Discovery.
He's weird. He's a strange
weird.
little man.
Besides the point, you said that you were reading shards that gave you this information?
Yes, the dragon shards.
Where exactly did these come from?
They come from all over the place. Sometimes you find them buried in the ground. Most of them. I found quite a few back in the Warring Kingdoms when I was a younger girl. And then I found more in Nymar. Some in Paradise. It's like a treasure map, but the map's ever changing, it's ever evolving. But they always lead you to the next one. To the next step, to the next process.
Second question, do you know the extent of these cavern networks?
This cavern network?
Yes.
The one that we are currently in, yes, I know it very well. We carved it out with a few shape earths. Didn't take us very long.
Okay. Well, that's decent. Right. Sorry, it's just some concerning things are lining up in my head. Your occupancy here in the Land of Flying Blades, plus the discovery of this waystone that is oozing evil. It's syncing up a little too well.
Yeah, we're all getting the pieces together. Don't you worry. So, we're gonna take you to see the Dragon Queen. And we'll get all of this sorted out real quick, right? That sounds like the plan.
I'm here for it if that's what you all wish for me to do. If it's not too much trouble, I would like to explain the situation, at least, to my companions.
Is anybody get insight checker? Because I got a 6.
I'll insight. I've been sitting quietly, listening to the conversation whilst watching the companions.
Yeah, and they've just, like, they've kind of been, like, talking back and forth to each other and, like, looking over. And then, like, speaking, and, like, you see, like, one of them's, like, snaps fingers, like, mage armor comes up, another one snaps fingers, stone skin. Like, they're getting ready in case something goes down. But it's just a bunch of wizards, like, prepping for a worst-case scenario.
Yeah,
It's
no, of
Overlord
course.
all over again.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah, no.
I got an 18.
18?
On that insight.
I guess I want to figure out what Arjhan's read on her is too, because Cyber is very confused and doesn't understand. Like Arjhan, Cyber doesn't understand Tyliera's plan.
So, yeah, Cori, what'd you get for your insight as well?
16.
16? Okay, so a 18. Caelum, you get the read that, like, she doesn't know what you guys are talking about. And she also she's coming across like she legitimately feels like she hasn't done anything wrong.
Right.
And Cori, you kind of get that as well. And Arjhan, your read on the situation, when the Queen last spoke to you, when Tiamat last informed you of the situation as a whole, she informed you that Tyliera is one of these people where the ends will always justify the means, regardless of what those means are. As long as she is able to do the thing that she has set out to do, she will look back at what she's done and consider it a job well done, regardless of how she got there.
Without turning around, Cori's just going to call over his shoulder. When exactly did Tiamat tell you to do any of this?
My entire life.
Directly?
Tiamat herself.
No.
When
Which
mortals-
one?
When mortals presume to know the will of gods.
I have been ever faithful. I've been devout to her. Again, since I was a child.
Okay, but do you have any of their merch
What do you mean, merch? What is this?
from their shows? Have you seen them perform?
What are you talking about?
They're
What performance? She's not of this plane.
yeah, we met her, all of her, and she did like this awesome K-pop performance.
What is
There
K-pop?
were like light wands and all.
I'm-
I mean, obviously
genre
she's
of music that is more.
And she has just like a hand on her forehead, like now she's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
she obviously doesn't know.
Yes,
who Tiamat
definitely
is.
go tell your companions if you would like to go to help.
Yes, I would love to speak with her directly.
Great.
Caelum's going to look over at Cori. When mortals... what was that you said earlier about mortals?
Mortals presume to know the will of gods.
There's normally something lurking in the shadows.
Oh my god, it's Grimish. Nope,
You know
sorry. I
what?
just thought I'd throw something out there. I don't actually really understand what's going on, so.
No, it's just Polyeth Man, I suppose.
Well,
Yeah. Has she left the room?
has she left the room?
She's like, you guys wanted to have all this conversation like as she was leaving, but at this point, she's like out of the conference room and making her way over. Like you can have a little aside as your group as she goes over.
Yeah,
know-
I feel like that makes the most sense.
I know I'm missing the corkboard and red strings, but this kind of
What the
feels like a
hell?
Char play.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
it's-
makes more
it's-
sense.
Yeah, it's sort of like that play Twilight Princess.
Oh yeah,
Specifically the Shaw one.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they build
Oh.
her up to be like this big villain all throughout the thing, but then oh no,
Yeah,
oh no, it was Shaw all along.
Oops, all Shar.
yeah. Oops, all Char. Okay, so
Shaw
if
can't be
that's the
involved in
case,
everything.
I mean, her world's kind of going to be shattered, right?
This could just be a mortal's folly.
Right.
Thinks she knows what Tiamat wants, but well, she's just projecting her own desires.
Yeah,
I really hope it's that case.
me too.
I'd like to make an insight check with the Council of Rife.
Okay.
Fucking, do I smell
Yeah, that was
Shar?
a question.
Do I smell Shar up in this bitch?
No, there is no deific influence
Yeah.
that
Okay,
is
so
had
she's
in this
crazy.
place.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just some spicy rocks.
She's just been reading the spice rocks.
Like they're salt stones.
So yeah, Tyliera goes over, and Tyrannosaurus, thank you so much for the raid. It's a really interesting time to raid. So as Tyliera goes over, you can see that she has like this combative state, and she is like tells Discovery to lower the wall. And in the meantime, she's been like explaining what's going on. And you see that Torjak just pinches the bridge of their nose. And you can hear echoing through this cave, "Feckless cowards." And then, for over 2 decades, Tyliera, you spoke of the coming age of fire. A world where we, the true faithful of the Queen, would rise above the ashes. Lady of Scales, you disappoint me. To agree to this was to have wasted 25 years of my life dedicated to your cause. 25 years. I'm sure you will
Which one
understand.
said that?
Torjak, the one with the horn
Yeah,
jutting
yeah.
out of his head. And he says, I'm sure you will understand when I say this, but I cannot abide by this decision. If this is to be the case, consider this our final goodbye, Tyliera. And he will, and then continues, past them, seeing your group.
Gwen peeks her head out, just like, seems like you picked the losing side twice in a row. Peeks her head back in.
He goes over. He goes over to one of these tables, and you see him rifle through. And from where you stand, you see him pull out a vial that has a golden liquid in it, and he just shoves it into his pocket.
I want to clock the vial.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
What is it?
What is it?
From where
Divine
you
sense.
can see, Arjhan, there is what looks to be a blue dragon scale floating in this vial of golden liquid.
Oh!
Yeah, but like what is it?
You have to do some sort of magic to find out what this potion is. This is not something that you've seen.
I've got a solution.
Does it involve
Yeah,
death?
so does he. That's the
No.
problem.
And
Oh, it's in a
It's a
it's in a
solution.
vial. Yeah. God damn it.
I'm very tired.
And
No,
Torjak,
you're on it.
Torjak will come over and address your group at the door if you're all still like poking out. And he looks at your group and says, I have no interest or no desire to continue my involvement with these disgusting creatures. And he makes a motion towards the sky and also like the giant tubes of super soldier that are along the side.
Oh, yeah.
Allow me to leave and take my research with me. And I will give you all my word that I will never set foot in the Illyrian countryside, or should you so wish to truly avoid me, I will accept warnings of your arrival via a sending spell. But until then, I will take my leave of my own.
Gwen peeks her head out. Like, for real, for real? You're just gonna bail?
Do you expect for me to fight for a cause that I am the only one who truly believes in? And he, like,
Okay.
makes that towards Tyliera, and Tyliera is just like,
And it's not a cause that you truly believe in.
Okay, cool. What are you gonna do if we let you go?
continue
Like-
my research elsewhere.
Into, like, points to the super soldiers?
No.
Into the Waystones?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? I was barely listening!
Do you need to go talk to the Dragon Queen as well?
He just shakes his head. Like, just shakes his head no, and, like, he just begins to walk off.
Huh. You know, worst case scenario, we can just kill him later. It's fine.
And
Look, if anybody had vengeance on this one, it's me, and I'm okay with this.
Discovery, hearing this, just like he gets kind of like like his shoulders slump a little bit. He gets a dejected look, and he goes over to one of the tables, like rifles in, brings out like this mechanical-looking button, presses it,
Whoa, what the fuck?
and you see that like the fluid inside of these containers begins to bubble, and he just like firebolt, 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 and like he's just destroying his lab. And then
Guys, I think we did it. I don't know. That was probably the easiest.
Draconian speedrunner.
Add it to your title.
By the way, Summer Games Done Quick is going on over on twitch.tv/Games Done Quick. They are also raising money for Doctors Without Borders. So
Hell yeah.
after this stream, maybe go check them out.
Yeah.
Go buy some GDQ merch. It's all for a good
Dang.
cause. Draconian speedrunner.
And Discovery like takes the notebook that he was working in and just ignites it,
Ah, fuck.
tosses it, and then he comes up within like talking distance of your party, and he looks at you, Caelum, and just says, "Before I go, I just want to know, we did some real work on you, and failure is the essence of, so I'm just curious, I was successful though, so how did you there and back again?"
I got better.
Yeah, it looks like it. He's a strong boy. Strong man?
Man.
Well, what's your name? I never really got that far.
Okay.
Well, I'd
Let's
like
just-
to know.
Ooh.
Let's just leave it at Owl.
All right, Owl. Hopefully. I'd like to meet again someday. Maybe under different circumstances. You seemed nice. Little
So
fun.
if I may cut in, you're on thin fucking ice as it is. I recommend you leave.
Well, Dad always said I knew how to make an exit, and you see that their hand begins to, like, radiate with this black necrotic energy, and they just point it towards their own head, and you
Holy
see a
shit.
disintegrate beam shoot out as they just...
Is it ice?
There's no ice.
Oh my god! What the fuck just happened? Did we win that hard? Who knew talking would be so easy?
Could
Why
I
don't
make
we
an
try that first?
Could I make an Arcana check to see if this was a clone?
Yes, you can. Make an Arcana check.
26.
One, while you weren't there in your own capacity, your party confirmed that they watched this guy die before.
Right. I
And
thought I was
seeing
thinking that.
and seeing his body, you turn him over, and it's a little weird at first, but you pull his shirt up, and there's no belly button.
Oh.
Mm.
He's an alien.
Excuse
You
me real quick.
I did think
Crap.
that he had died before.
Caelum just grabs Discovery's foot and drags him out to a cave where no one can see, and there is just a flash of light. And he'll walk back just clasping his hands.
And then there were two.
And
Do I want to know what you just went and did?
Firebolt.
Oh, okay.
and Tyliera looks at Agravain, and Agravain just takes a deep sigh. And she says, I guess this is where we part ways. And there is a deep grumble that comes from him, but she just turns and makes her way towards you as this undead dragon just chills in the back of a cave as it fills with smoke and fire.
Hey Simon, can I get my dog?
Yeah. Throughout all of this time, you'll
He's right
hear a as rushing up is a obsidian hound that tongue hanging out of its mouth, just doing that full I ran very hard.
Good girl.
I'm sorry.
Just I am the best girl.
You want to
Did we all hear this?
Yeah, it speaks common.
She speaks common.
Did we meet this before and I just
Yes.
forgot? Oh god.
Yeah, Gwen, you were actually the one who said, "Who's a good girl?" And the response was, "I am the best girl." And that was your first interaction with Nyx.
Now I remember. Good times.
Want to take a nap?
And she just nods and then walks around 3 times, and at the end of the third curl there is just as a statue just gently falls. You're able to easily pick it up.
All this has been overwhelmingly confusing. Let's go talk to your god again. Hopefully I can get them to sign my glow stick.
Could we call off the attack of the Owlin? They're probably gonna kill everyone.
And
Alan?
Tyliera,
Can we deactivate the remaining super soldiers?
that's not exactly how that works. There was no deactivation. They're under command of their leader. So if you want to call them all off, you'd have to convince Nobu. He is not exactly,
Amenable.
let's see, you met Discovery, right?
Yes.
Like a screw loose?
Yes.
That's the polite way of describing Nobu.
So we kill him. No? Yes?
Can you call him off?
Cannot. He was not under... I was under his protection. If he finds out that this has occurred, that Discovery is not here, that Torjak is left, he would kill me.
So he's going to be a problem regardless.
Should we meet with Tiamat first and then deal with this when we get back?
Time travel's weird when going through planes, right?
Depends on the plane.
Let's talk to Tiamat first.
Okay.
Russell pulls out a tuning fork. Alright, everyone, link hands. Keep your arms, legs, and other extremities inside the teleportation circle at all times. We here at Caelum Teleportations are not responsible for any loss of limb. Bing! Plane shift.
And Tyliera just like, she just is like, okay, like she, like you can tell that there's like an air of excitement about her. Like, this might be a fun time. For her. Probably not.
RJ's thinking, man, she's gonna get 8.
And there is that same flash of light, that same brilliant heat, and you find yourself at the entry to what would be otherwise Tiamat's Coliseum. At this point, expecting your arrival, having formed Newell what the overall plan is, they end up flapping their wings over to you, and Tyliera is just like looking around, and you can see that like she like takes off like the outer layer of her robe to kind of cool down a little bit, and is just like in awe looking at all of this. And Newell again arrives and says, well, this is unexpected.
I brought what the Queen has asked for, but I gave her my word that she would have a chance to talk, to plead her case. May we have an audience with the Queen?
For something such as this, I cannot promise you an audience. For one such as her, I believe our Queen would be more demanding of a trial. And Newell nods and says, I will see what I can do. And they fly away, or they like motion for you to follow them, and you enter into Tiamat's home, this giant arena that she calls her own. And Newell sort of like leaves you in the waiting room, and Tyliera just is like she's in awe. Like, she keeps like looking out the window and seeing like dragons fly by, and she's just seems very pleased with it. Like, in a way you feel like she should be more nervous about this, but she is just watching. And you can tell that there is, like, in her eye, it's like if you're like when a young kid is really interested in, like, construction equipment, and then you take them near a construction zone and they can, like, see, like, the backhoe moving and the dump truck going. Like, it is that same, like, wide eye, like, this is all that she's ever wanted to see. Is just the skies a darkened red, a sweltering heat, and dragons everywhere. And at this, there is, you hear the sound of a door opening, and Newell says, kind of motions for you all to come in with them. And at this, you are all taken into what looks like a massive courtroom. But with what exists inside of this courtroom is that it's also, like, there are very similar to like small town courthouses where you can just go and witness a trial, even if you're not necessarily like part of the jury. It's just kind of something to do on an afternoon. The seats are packed with these Abishai, with other devils that have all just sort of seemed to like this doesn't happen very frequently, and they're like getting ready, having heard very quickly, but like if you bought a ticket, you could use it instantly to arrive at such a thing, at such an event. And you see that where normally there would be a judge's seat, there are 5 seats that are set up, and in each one of these seats is a different head of Tiamat. And upon seeing this, again, you'd think that Tyliera would be more frightened of seeing the 5 heads of Tiamat, but from her perspective, she is seeing the god that she has worshipped since ever, for the first time in their personages. And like, she like even turns towards you and says, should I be this giddy? I mean, I know that she probably wants to kill me, or at least make me pay with hellfire or something for what, again, I'm not entirely confident. But they're beautiful.
Tyliera,
Yes.
I've been on her bad side once.
I understand.
And I can't wish that on anyone else.
And Tyliera nods and says, hopefully she remembered to eat today and is a little bit more understanding, I guess. I would say wish me luck, but it's not exactly something that you wish for here, is it? And she will, at this point, Newell, like, motions her forward. And again, there are also a set of 4 chairs that are set up for you all to sit in, like, a guest of honor kind of scenario. And as Tyliera comes forward and stands, there is a podium that faces the 5 heads of Tiamat. And as she faces, you hear a set of deep, like, as from the corner of this courtroom, creeping in, you see the head of an ancient black dragon who has most recently returned to the Hells, being that of Tarlayan. And they rest down and look at the woman that would have stolen him away from his queen. And I know it's a little bit early, but before the trial begins, that is where we are going to go onto our break for the evening. We're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see you guys shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon! And we're back!
Simon!
Yes, RJ!
Hey, how you doing?
It's hot. It's very hot where I am. I am a puddle.
I know
off
you
the
are, but I'm
stream.
asking you how you're doing.
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. How's everybody else doing? Good?
Yeah,
I'm
we're
drinking
good.
too much caffeine.
I'm double fisting it, so cheers.
Also,
it is finally thunderstorming here in Austin
Here too.
after like a month of it being dry.
Hell yes.
Which is great for my grass, which is bad for my dog.
Dog.
by the way, Simon,
Yes?
singing in the shower is fun until you get soap in your mouth. Then it's a soap opera.
Oh.
Wow.
Sorry, I was stalling for time as I was looking at shitty dad jokes.
You know, that's fine.
Lane's right there.
I'm here for it. I'm loving
my
this.
God.
We're having a great time. Hello, everybody. We just got back from our break. So let's get into it. Tyliera v. Tiamat, the trial of the century. The court is now in session. And you can see again, like, Tarlayan is there. There are devils. There are Abishai. There are other dragons who are also here. They're like, oh man, like, I can't wait to find out what's going on with this shit. Like, Dragon Mom's actually, like, she's gonna hear somebody out. That seems kind of unheard of, but, like, Okay. They're very curious about this.
Simon, is there an Abishai on stenography duty?
There is.
Okay, cool.
Yep, there's also that is a blue Abishai whose nails are like super long and they're just like click, 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 click. And then there is a red Abishai that's wearing like a little bailiff's outfit that's standing near the front. There doesn't really seem to be a need for a bailiff when there are dragons and other such creatures here, but it couldn't hurt to have a little bit of officiance here in this courtroom setting. And as Tyliera is placed up front and she has her staff taken from her, and they seem to do like a general, like, do you have any magic items on you, kind of frisk. It seems like she did have a few things on her that have been taken, and she stands before Tiamat. And you hear from the bailiff, Tyliera Scarborough, you stand trial before the Queen Mother in all her glory. You are accused of kidnapping Tarlean Yodaris, the Obsidian Tyrant. Furthermore, you are faced with the charges of assisting followers of the Night Serpent towards their inane goal, and allying yourself with the traitor Agravain of the Blightwood, with what we have reason to believe was an act of coercion. You have caused chaos and dissent among Our Lady's followers through the realm of Chorus Aird. We understand you have reason to believe that your ends will justify the means that you have pursued. Do you have anything to say on your own behalf? And Tyliera, like, her head's down a little bit, and at this she looks up and stares at the queen. And from where you all are, you can see that, like, her shoulders shake a little bit, and then there's a deep breath, and then she steadies, and my notes here. She says, "My queens, may I shed light as to my side of the narrative that you have presented. It is true, I do believe that in the end you will recognize my works as just and even favorable regardless of my methods. You may punish me, you may damn me, you may very well drag me on the bottom of the river Styx until I've lost all that I once was, but to do this would be to have failed yourself." And as she says this, Madri and Zelena, the blue and green Tiamats, their eyes narrow at Tyliera, but they allow her to keep talking. And she says, "Before I began my work, your children were nothing but stories. Stories that I've heard since I was a child, and stories that I have wanted to turn into something far grander than words on a page. My entire life I had heard the stories of what the great dragon kings were able to accomplish under your guidance, and as you are all aware, I'm sure, I was raised in Kralstead, within what we know as the Warring Kingdoms. These lands once belonged to your children, and in my daily life I saw consistently what they were capable of. In my youth, I promised myself that I would restore the balance, and in order to do so, I devoted myself to a life of arcana and archaeology. I ventured far, learning the secrets of the dragon shards, your final words carved into this world that had otherwise been forgotten by the non-believers. The Sundering had brought you children who knew not of your... but my thing skipped. Not of your prowess and greatness, but refuted you. The peoples of the kingdoms refused to sing your praise, but I knew the truth. I knew that the Age of Dragons could be brought forward and return to this world, that your children could return to their rightful place. Along my travels, I allied myself with those I thought shared my vision, and once we had found what we believed to be the last active egg, my group crafted a plan. However, ties are not so easily cut, scars not so easily healed, and people are not so quick to accept new leadership. We had no idea that Ednair's brash nature would cause our small group to come to a head against the Goliaths who followed the order of the Queen of Ravens. And as she says this, Tarlayan begins to snarl. And Cravenna, the red version of Tiamat, says, "But you did not ask our permission to," and then she is silenced by the blue. Let her speak. As with all children, we are unsure how long they would survive, they would live. We did our best, and as your servants, to provide for him. Oh, wait, shite. Nope, this one. She says, those who had taken an oath upon your name proved to be unreliable. Maldus Urzak was the first of my comrades to fall, never seeing the birth of your true herald. A testament to our devotion, a culmination of faith and science and arcana. I believe you're familiar with Arjhan? She points towards you. We had attempted to create others similar to him through the process of grafting or altering the wildlife, but he was true. A pure spirit born with a connection not only to you, but also to one of the ancients, and I was unaware as to whom this egg belonged. And is it at this point that Tarlayan snarls? As with all children, we were unsure how long they would live. We did our best, and as your servants, to provide for him. I admit that we marred his scales, but with messages of strength, power, and a reminder as to the queen he would someday serve. As the title would suggest, a herald meant to usher in an age of scale and wings. It was Ednair, not I, that sank the knife into the child. We knew that within him housed a powerful spirit, and Ednair felt that this absolute last resort was necessary. We were cornered. If he was wrong, the blood of a child and the result of over a decade of research would be wasted. Believe me when I say this was not my first instinct or ideation. Our beliefs were correct in this, however, as we watched this infant turn into a weapon that would alter the course of history. To my chagrin, the power they held was too strong for those of us left, and myself and my associate had to leave everything behind. By the time that they had tired themselves out and we returned, it was too late. They had been discovered by the Sanguine Order. Knowing that we had to distance ourselves from the mainland, we headed east to the Isles of Alestria, far from the Goliaths, far from the Bronze Baron, and far from any who knew of our doings. And we continued to follow messages that were found within the dragon shards, and made our way to Nymar, and found ourselves surrounded by the followers of Dendar. We were able to convince them that we would lend our assistance in exchange for our assistance in some pitiable war that an ally of theirs was waging, in return for being able to continue our research unabated. It was then that Agravain approached my associate and myself and offered his assistance in harnessing draconic power, and we obviously agreed. And Tarlayan snarls again, "Coward! Where is he? I'll tear—" And Kara, this time, looks at him, just a quick shoot, and he, recoils almost from the gaze that she provides. So you're saying Agravain came to you on his own? And Tyliera nods. Yes, my queens. He later informed us that he was angered at the quickness and ease that he had been removed from your partnership. He was quick to speak and easy to anger, and troubled as it might sound, we felt as he could prove useful. One of the scientists with whom my associate was friendly with had recently found themselves on a sabbatical of sorts, and when they heard of our situation, they arrived as fast as they could. And together, we did the impossible. We resurrected a member of Dragonkind to the world of Corsair through binding Agravain's spirit to the skeleton of one of your long-forgotten children. Not even the locals knew their name. Your Grace, regardless of how it is viewed, I have done the impossible in your name. I have brought back your children and even delivered you a grandchild in the form of Arjhan. From my understanding, he has already done wonders promoting your name and prowess through the mainland, in a way that I even entertained thoughts visiting, returning. In my eyes, my ends, as you described them, have been forever justified. Since I was but a child, I have done nothing but sing your praise, to honor your words, and live in accordance with the secret scriptures that I found within the shards. A scripture that I have done well to share with others, and I will admit I may not have chosen the soundest of companions. I myself have never meant you a disservice. I stand before you now, the emissary of an age where you would reign above all, where you could show the people how much they still need you. If given the opportunity, I would see all of your children return so that you may stand proudly against... And there is a brief cutoff. As in unison, the 5 heads of Tiamat say, "Do not utter his name. You will do well to remember this." Yes, my lady, as I said, my life has been dedicated to you since I heard of your stories and songs. Is this not what you wanted? Is this not the message that you had left for me to find? And as Tyliera says this, there is a murmuring from the audience. And as the murmurs grow louder, each head of Tiamat raises a hand to silence them and says in unison, "Given this new information that has come to light through your testimony, we will be taking a brief recess." And there is murmur again from the audience, as this is something that has been... This does not happen. The gods do not take recess with individuals, but it seems like in this moment, Tiamat is feeling amenable to possibly reconsider what she has thought. And at this, with the murmuring, you see that the 5 individual heads disappear. And the bailiff takes Tyliera, escorts them out of the courtroom, and after a few minutes, a black Abishai comes up and approaches you, Arjhan, and says in a very hushed tone, or actually they'd be able to speak with you telepathically, as Abishai are able to do such a thing, and says, "The Queen would request your counsel."
Arjhan will nod and get up from the stand. Or get up from the bench, or whatever.
Okay. And then this Abishai escorts you out. You 3, you just you heard this whole spiel of Tyliera's, and then Tiamat disappears, and then Arjhan is being escorted out separately.
Where Arjhan was sitting, there are claw marks in the bench.
I have no idea what I should be doing in this situation.
I think Cori will stand as Arjhan's being escorted out, and like move to follow him and say, "Arjhan, do you need someone to come with you?"
He'll just shake his head.
Are you certain?
He'll shake his head again. And keep following.
Okay.
Cori taps his badge and says, "You know how to contact me."
He doesn't look back, but he nods.
Cori, like, watches as he leaves and stands there for a second, and then will slowly sit back down again.
Caelum's going to approach the blue Abishai that was taking court notes and just ask them if these notes will be made public later, and if you could get a copy.
Make a persuasion check.
Hi, I'm Caelum. I am a consultant with Tyrant Security.
The name's Dolores. I'm not exactly sure what this tyrant security is, but if you could give me that persuasion check, hon.
14.
A 14. Yeah, these are not being made public. These seem to be official records.
I'll just do it from memory then.
Okay. And yeah, Dolores does not seem interested in giving you a copy.
Gwen looks to Cori and is just like, I don't actually know what's happening. What is this whole trial process? Like, in my culture, we just do you did something wrong. Look, I've been arrested a few times. I get that. But usually it's you did something wrong, you go to jail. There's no in between.
Well, that's kind of the issue when law is subjective. Tiamat is of many minds. and she
Literally.
can disagree with herself.
Okay. So we're just here to like sit and watch, right? Like I don't need to battle anyone or like defend a side because I'm just really nervous about my role in this.
Well, if the issue of trial by combat comes up, Tyliera might choose one of us as her representative.
Is that okay? Can she just do that?
I mean, you can deny it.
Okay. We want to do that, right?
Shrugs.
We want to do whatever is going to support Arjhan.
Obviously. Okay.
No, I understand that, yeah.
It's just at this point I don't even know if that's what we're doing anymore.
When Arjhan needs us, I was gonna say he'll let us know, but I don't think he knows what he needs right now. We'll be there when he does. Right?
Always.
Oh,
Of course.
Mending the chair.
Okay. So, meanwhile, Arjhan, you have been led into, through a set of back rooms, down a hallway, and then there's a final door, and at that door, the Abishai opens it, and you see that there is a precipice that stares out over all of Avernus, and you see the embodiment of Tiamat Prime standing with her back to you. And as the door opens, she does a half turn to look over her shoulder towards you, and confirms you may approach, and then to shut the door behind you.
He does.
And she, as she gazes out upon to Avernus, and you can hear the screams of tortured souls sounding off in the far distance, she says, I called you here for several reasons. The first being that I have misjudged you. And as it pains me to admit, and if you utter a word of this outside, it will look poorly on my reputation. you were right.
Or, he's confused.
And she motions with her hand. Says, I want you to look at something with me.
And he'll approach.
And she, while looking out over Avernus, and you can see that kind of like golden glow in her eye, says, ever since I wedged a spot for myself, a spot for our people in the Hells, I have only ever been known to be monsters. To tear and shred any of those who would come in my way. And as such, my followers, self-proclaimed, or those who believe themselves to have found scripture and do things in my name, carry forth a sense of dread and doom with them. I am not saying I do not like this place. The heat is amenable. My landlord is iffy, at best. I would much rather have a true home for my people. Tyrant security. These songs that you have bolstered upon the land, they have done more for me and for showing others what they could be if they followed. Not just in my footsteps, but in yours as well. You're doing noble work. And I understand that parts of me were not as inclined at this new age way of thinking when we first met, and still hold on to the old ways. But this new style has grown on me. So I would seek an apology to you. For what had been done. My blue aspect is gritting their teeth, but they are in earnest. Age-old schemes are hard to forget.
He'll, like, blink a couple times, and then, like, he has not been meeting her gaze. He's just been, like, nodding this whole time, but he'll, like, look at her. Why?
As I said, if you inform others of what I am telling you now, it will not do well with my reputation here in the Hells. But for you, I offer apologies.
I don't understand what you're saying.
There are few individuals with whom I am able to trust. And I have found, over the course of our communications, that oftentimes I am able to trust you more than myself. The old ways of how I have ruled previously are not as effective as what you have been able to offer and what you have been able to herald in, to describe, to hear Tyliera's story, where her desire is to bring about an army. This is not to bring about a new age of dragons. This is to reign over Ash. She lacks direction. She lacks structure. And I understand that you were also without structure and direction, being pulled in several different directions. But even given that, you have done great works.
What are you apologizing for?
The way I treated you. You are not a servant. You are not a tool for me to use. I would ask that I can call you friend, which is not something I am able to do often.
You said if I speak a word of this, it would not be good for your reputation. What is the full weight of that?
There are those who still see me as the five-headed dragon queen, which I am. The full weight being, if any of the Lords of Avernus were to find out that there was a sliver of kindness, they might get it in their devilish heads to attempt an uprising. There would be no weight directed upon you. This is simply an image to maintain in the meantime.
Are you forbidding me to speak of it?
No. I would just ask as a friend. It is just us here. You are free to speak your mind.
I'm terrified of you. I don't feel safe with you. There are parts of you that have been very kind, but there are parts that have not made a great first impression, that have threatened my friends, that have threatened me. And though I have tried to appease you, I don't feel safe. don't know that I can call you a friend. I don't feel like this is a partnership. I still feel like that threat is looming over me. I want others to come to you more out of love than fear. Because I wish that was the relationship that we had. Let me speak to Marjorie.
And
What was her name? Was it Marjorie?
yes. So the colors of Tiamat are Kara, the black one, Zelena, who's green, Billy, white, Cravenna, red, and Marjorie, blue.
It's Elena. All of you. Dude. Well,
And as
you know what I mean.
yeah, as you are figuring out the words, she splits into 5. And Kara, like, looks at you and has that same reassuring gaze that she has always had. And Marjorie and Zelena, the blue and the green, Zelena has their hands behind their back and Marjorie has their hands in their pockets.
If this is something that we're going to move forward from, I need to hear it from all of you. What are you apologizing for?
And Marjorie says, I apologize. It just is bad. I apologize for threatening your friends to encourage your servitude. And Kara kicks her in the back of the leg. And Marjorie, like, looks at her. That's just how I talk. I am.
I can't do this. If you want to make it right, make it right. Is there anything else that you need from me, my queen?
And there is a pause from the group. And Zelena says, first, I would also apologize to you. What we have come to ask, you have stated that you want individuals to come to us because of their love of us, and that we agree. What we would ask is, what do you think should be done with Tyliera?
Arjhan takes a deep breath and then goes to look out the same, like,
Yeah,
the
they're
same
just
view of Vernus.
yep.
I have my feelings about what Tyliera's done. Having been one of the tools that she discarded. What are the things that she's following? The dragon shots.
And Madri says, back when the world, well, not really the world so much, began as a discrepancy of sorts between myself and my two siblings. One of them, I am sure you know, is Bahamut. I am not exactly pleased to be related to the father of the metallic dragons. But related we are nonetheless. Throughout our arguments, my second sibling, a father of dragons made of gem, recorded elements of our conversations. Conversations that spanned cosmos. And has hidden them and placed them in places for individuals to find. To them, Bahamut and I's arguments were but a fun game. These dragon shards, to some, they are given the ability to look within and see pathways, elements of a labyrinth or puzzle that will lead them to some greater goal. In this case, in our case, the dragon shards would be an overwhelming force of chromatics against the metallic dragons. But without metallic dragons, it would just be chromatic dragons. Furthermore, there was a deal that was struck far, far long ago, where the queen of the Gith, Vlakith, and I entered into a deal in that she would train and raise our strongest red dragons that we had, and in exchange, they would gain treasure and hoards. That deal is outlined within the gems.
Did you not have every opportunity to tell your followers directly that they were misguided by these ships and what they represented?
We did. But there has not been one that has been able to read these gems for some time. And we figured that if there was no immediate threat of the chromatics taking over, that we would entertain this idea. However, the ideas get out of hand when they are left to interpretation. To determine the better half of an argument through reading without subtext. There is no amount of guidance that we could give in that degree that would change the mind of the reader. They would see us as false compared to the belief and understanding that they had, even if it came directly from our mouths.
Well, of course, the judgment is up to you, but I think we both know that she's not blameless here. But she doesn't deserve all the blame. Like you said, she needed direction. She wasn't given that.
And they nod. Our first thought is to, in a way, grant her wish and turn her to an apple shot. Have her join the ranks. Remove her from the plane. So her quest will cease, and we are able to have more direct guidance with her. Do you believe that she is capable of being, upon chorus aired, without direct supervision?
I don't know. I don't know her. I never got that chance.
Would you like to?
I don't know. Between her and Tyliera, I've been used. For both of them, I was a tool. One of them couldn't wait to discard me, the other one did so without much remorse. I don't know. I would like to think I would like to think that I'd give him everything. That I could try to be fair. That I tend to be fair. I can forgive a lot, I can understand a lot, but I do not like being used. If you see fit to give her a chance, then that's fine, but I don't. I would need time before I decide not to waste it.
They nod. We could place her within one of our many cells until such a verdict is reached.
Wait, are you... Are you saying her fate is left up to me?
Should that be what you believe the best scenario to be?
I'm not. I'm not the person who needs to make this decision. But I would ask that her agency not be taken away.
Tiamat as a whole nods. And you watch as the 5 of them reform. And Tiamat looks at you again, and this time there is that soft gaze that comes through. And she says, when I came to you with this, I said that if you returned her to me, that I would reward you handsomely. May I see your hand?
He'll stretch out his hand.
Okay. She will take it, and you feel a warmth begin to emanate from her palm into yours, and she says, I know that words can only deliver so much in terms of an apology. I do hope to one day be able to call you friend. Thank you, Arjhan. And Arjhan, you have gained Tiamat's Blessing. Tiamat's Blessing will grant you the Scaled Toughness Draconic Gift, allowing you to have permanent resistance to piercing and slashing damage, and you also gain a daily use of a legendary resistance. Yeah. Then back through the room. And Tiamat will just sort of like turn and look out towards Avernus. And at that, the Black Abishai will then walk you back to the courtroom. In the meantime, Cori, Caelum, Gwen.
Before Arjhan leaves.
For sure.
You're absolutely right. Words can only do so much.
And she says, "Thank you for listening." Okay,
Cool.
So, back in the courtroom, Cori, Caelum, Gwen, you've been in this courtroom and it's been like a good like 15, 20 minutes. At one point, like a little imp came up and was like, "You guys want to make a deal?" Just like, "No, it's you. Get the fuck back away from here. Like, we are not able to be dealing." Like, even the bailiff is like, "Hey, get the hell out of here!" Like, shaking away this little imp.
But like,
After-
what if he was Wayne Brady?
What if he was Wayne Brady?
So there's a devil who's sitting on one of these chairs. His head is a dice, and he has a very fine-looking mustache. And he kind of leans down, and just, "Any of you folks looking to make a deal?"
I was told not to deal with devils, sorry.
Oh, that's poppycock. Now, come on. There are lots of devils that who says I'm a devil. I'm just the dice man.
Hey, fuck off.
Hey, well, language.
So is your full title Mr. King Dice? Is your title Mr. or Dice? I don't
It is
understand.
Mr. King Dice.
After
He's
like
in the land.
minute 5 of waiting, Caelum left and came back with like food.
Yeah, it's food from Avernus.
The fuck did you find that? Is there a buffet?
Oh, I just had to stop off at some stalls.
Did you bring enough for everyone?
Well, yeah, figure.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cori, there was no vegetarian option. It's all meat down here.
What makes
Why
you
is it
think I'm
always meat?
vegetarian?
Shrugs.
You were vegetarian.
I
That
know.
was you.
I know. I'm just saying, there's no leafy greens here. It's all meat.
If it's a
Why is it
dietary
only-
restriction, I know of a quick and easy way that we could get you.
Get
being
out of here,
omnivores.
Mr. Dice!
And you see his head kind of like spins a little bit as he like, like.
The
It's-
longer that Arjhan's gone, the more nervous Cori is. Just like, literally like the leg bouncing.
Yeah. And after, again, at like 15, 20 minute mark, Caelum has returned with this cart, this street food. The door opens and Arjhan is walked in with this Black Abishai who like walks you to the door, motions for your seat, and then like go and like take a little seat in the side.
Abyssal chicken leg.
Oh, hell yes.
They're deep fried, apparently.
23 abyssal herbs and seasonings.
Cori.
So how did it go?
Yeah, Cori stood when he saw Arjhan come back, and then like slowly like sat back down when Arjhan sat. What happened? Are you all right?
She... She wanted to apologize and be friends.
Raised eyebrows.
And I-
Damn it.
And I didn't accept it.
Good.
Prerogative.
How you feeling?
She asked me to decide the fate of the woman who let me die. Who I do not know.
Yeah?
And I couldn't. I spoke on her defense, but I could not judge her.
Honestly, that's probably the best situation here. I mean, you're the most level-headed one out of all of us, and if you can't make a decision, then I guess it's not really your decision to make, right?
I feel really fucking tired.
You want to go home?
Yeah, we should go and stop this war.
Yeah.
Before we go, they do have like a bubble tea place that I want to hit up.
Time does not dilate here.
Oh shit. Oh, we should go back.
People may be dying.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I know I took a moment to reach an emotional catharsis, but like people are fucking dying.
You know what? You're right. You're right.
Swift of the 10 wins, I feel, is like the only one with a boba.
In the background, still here with us. Oh shit! I forgot we're still here.
We are stopping the war now?
Yeah.
It's due diligence and all that.
I thought we weren't supposed to get involved.
Oh no, we're getting involved.
We took the rest of them off the table, but yeah, we should
Finish
Kill
the
some
fight?
leaders.
well, we should deactivate the super soldiers, and the only way to do that is to go through the general.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not arguing against it. I didn't know that was on the agenda.
Hell yeah.
I don't think this is lighting, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
But like any other like non-mutated Owlin, besides like the general who's in charge of like all the super soldiers, like I don't. That's not my business.
I see.
Yeah.
Just remove all influence. Makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clean up my.
All
Mom's
that
mess.
aside,
It's not.
Arjhan,
Has nothing to do with you. The mess has nothing to do with you. Just so you
No, but I
has nothing to do with you.
Arjhan has made.
it feels icky. Like
Oh.
the
Okay.
person
Okay.
responsible for me going
yeah.
in and colonizing. It feels
Okay, good.
bad. Let me clean it up.
Yeah.
Let's
I just wanted to
get-
make sure
let's
you
get
weren't
that out of
blaming
there.
yourself for what's happening, because there's no way that's the case.
No.
Hell yeah. Okay, let's go back and do a war.
Let's stop a war.
certainly.
Stopping a war with
In-
We can-
with
in
battle.
war.
We can
Yeah.
do that. All that aside, Arjhan, gods don't apologize to mortals.
Mine did.
He did?
Kinda. I mean, he said he was.
For
Pretty
what?
sure he said he
And
was
when?
sorry that I had to go do a thing to like.
That's
back.
not an apology. That's pity.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Gwen. Arjhan, she really respects you. You don't owe her anything. But I wanted to acknowledge that.
You're right. Hopefully, eventually, she will respect me enough to actually give me an apology.
Oh. You didn't say it was a non-apology. You're gonna have to let me come along next time. I'll make sure that actually happens.
He'll shake his head.
Whatever you say.
Real quick, are we teleporting back now, or do you want to hear the verdict?
The verdict's not gonna happen.
Cool. Nice. Well, this is going to be an adventure for all of us. I don't have a tuning fork back home to a specific location, so roulette wheel time.
Do you just need, like, a fork?
N-
I have a fork. It's an eating fork.
No, it's a tuning fork for. He'll pull out one. Ding. It's attuned to the plane. It's
Oh, out of character. Like, sometimes Okay, well, no, hold on. Explain this to me. Is this your component?
it's the material component I need to use plane shift successfully
Did
for a
it
designated
say-
location.
If it doesn't say that the components are consumed, then
I can
they're
continuously
not.
use them, but
Yes.
each tuning fork is tuned to a specific plane.
We do have something that can replace spell components.
Up to 500 GP.
For level 18, money means nothing to us.
Ah!
Ha!
Say
Mr. King Dice, get over here. You got a tuning fork.
let me reread plane shift real quick.
Yeah, you just sort of like
Yeah. A
slinks
forked
on up.
material component, a forked metal rod worth at least 250 GP, attuned to a particular plane of existence.
Do dragon shards replace that?
I would say yes in this scenario.
Sick.
Okay, question. Did we travel to the Hells with no way of returning to the material plane? Is that what I'm hearing?
I figured if there was a problem, my mom could send us home.
My mom can get the van.
Mom, we need to go home. They're drinking alcohol here.
Well, so if we have that, then Simon, I would assume that I would be able to teleport us back to the cave with Agravain.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna be tapped out of all my high-level magic, except for like maybe one really big bang.
That'll give him a fighting chance. I mean,
Is that really what we want, though?
Okay, look, okay, Caelum, sometimes you just go in there and then, like, disintegrate people, and then I'm left with, like, the scraps, okay? I want to fight, and I want a big fight. I want to hurt people, and I want it to feel good, okay?
You could probably go to the Temple of Soon and hire somebody for that.
That's not what I don't want.
Wink.
I don't want to just bloodlust for bloodlust. I'm not a serial killer.
No, I meant it in more of a sexual connotation. Can
That's
I have
not
a
what I'm
Jemmy-
talking about.
May I have a Jemmy, please?
That's a serial killer.
And when you're saying this, like, you look over and Mr. King Dice is like pulling at his mustache, like eyebrows raised, like if that's what you want.
Yeah, let's just go, please. It shoves everyone.
Swift like puts his drink down.
And technically, I think they like to be referred to as high-functioning sociopaths.
That's a different thing.
I don't care what they want to be called. They murder people, yeah.
A psychopath. Okay, you know what? Let's not get into it. I've watched way too much Criminal Minds.
Hold hands! Crushes the Jemmy and teleports everyone via plane shift.
Okay.
Right before we leave, Cori's like, so do you give the whole keep your hands inside of the teleportation thing as an actual safety briefing, or were you just being a dick and then
There's like Cori, like a piece of a pinky is like left out like in Avernus.
Mm-mm.
No, it's fine.
We're not leaving bits of gods around.
No, not again.
Not again!
Not again.
Level 18 D&D is a wild time.
You heard of the Hand of Vecna, now there's a Pinky of Courtline.
When they land, I only give the speech to new people, honestly.
Okay. And inside of
mean,
this cave,
honest-
you are the only people who are there.
Oh
war.
no.
But war.
Where's
No, that's okay.
Agravain?
You know, if we were going to kill Agravain, we probably should have done it before we left.
Did we want to kill Agravain?
I don't
I know
know.
he was aggravating, but
High five. Low
Honestly, I don't think about Agravain much at all. I would prefer to keep going about this that way. I know that he has a grudge against me. I really don't think about
five.
it.
You are a much better person than me, Arjhan. Caleb's like just tightening his bracers.
Yeah.
Alright.
You guys
Get in.
make your way out of the cave. You pass by the, like, cave opening where you just see that there's, like, some boots, like, ash nearby. And these boots had once belonged to Discovery. But you make your way towards the outside of the cave. The one thing that is poignant is that you don't hear anything. You can hear the crackle of embers, but there is no sound of soldiers moving. There's no sounds of battle cries. There's no sounds of organization. And as you get closer to the cave head, you see that there is a heavy layer of smoke. Where once there was this tall building in the middle of the crater, it is melted to about a quarter of its overall height. And as you look up along the outskirts of where this kind of crater rests, you can see that there is smoke that is like arriving off in the distance as well.
I think our problem kind of took care of itself.
I was gonna say, is this a good or a bad thing for us?
We should check in. Can you?
Yeah.
Sending
you-
Shao.
There's no response.
Fuck.
That's not good.
Sending. Fuck, what's his name? The Emperor.
Oh, Aisha?
Aisha.
There is no response.
I've got one more third level spell. Chick who fought Gwen.
There is a response from her, and she asks, "How goes the front of the
Island.
how goes?" Or like you send her. So what do you say?
Infiltration complete. Status report on the field. Where's Shao?
I assume Shao was foolhardy, or foolhardy's one word, and rushed towards the battle, to fight alongside his father. Haven't heard from the front. And as you crest the crater where this now melted tower rests, the forest in front of you has been melted away. And it looks like there are just tracks and drags where the landscape has just corroded. And off in the distance, towards where you know the front of this battle was, you see a large black shape flying through the air, just raising lines and lines of acid spray.
Yeah, I'm thinking about him.
Gotta tell you.
We need to go. We need to go right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And hearing that, Swift just like looks at this and then just like gets low to the ground and then just starts booking it along with you guys. And as you rush forward, you can see that there are like charred remains of these Owlin super soldiers that have been partially disintegrated. You can see that there are Air Kokra that have met the same fate. As you get within a half mile of where you can see Agravain making these long sweeps with this skeletal draconic body just breathing out cone after cone of this acidic-like breath, with these other Owlin that seem to be flying alongside him, you see a sword. And you see a sword that is sticking out of the ground that has a kind of petal-like pattern where the hilt of the blade is. It is long, it is curved, and it seems to have avoided the corrosion. You recognize this as Xiao's blade.
Caelum is going to approach it and pull it out of the dirt.
Okay.
Gwen's continuing to run forward, and she is going to attempt to get the attention of this skeletal fuck.
Okay.
I call upon the Blood Lord.
Okay. Bloodlord is ready for round 2.
I have a dragon that could theoretically hold us all.
Let's do it.
Okay. All hopping on the back of the Bloodlord?
We are going to Aragon 20, whatever the fuck it came out this shit. And yes, I'm talking about the bad movie.
Yeah.
Not the book.
The decent book, the bad movie. Jeremy Irons was in it. He loved what he was doing, and that's the part that counts.
You know what? Good for him.
Good for him.
2006.
Gotta make paid. You gotta get paid somehow. Alright, so. You are all on the back of this spectral dragon as you fly up towards the air. And as you are flying upwards, and the creature that is Agravain is gunning towards you as well, these Owlin still looking like they are following his command. I know it's a bit early, but combat would last us way longer than the 30 minutes that we are allowed, so we're going to call it a bit short today. We aren't going to be playing next week because Danae's out of town, but the week after, when we return, we are taking on Agravain of the Blightwood in the sky on Dragonback. It's going to be a wild and wonderful and crazy time of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yo, my dragon has 50 hit points. We're not going to be up in the air for long.
So if you have
Doesn't matter.
As Arjhan's casting this, with Connor's permission, I would like to use a reaction to duplicate the spell. And use a 5th level spell slot to pull another Bloodlord out.
Doesn't it require concentration?
It does. I have to concentrate on it. Number 2, I don't know that you... There's only one of him.
Truth. Okay. I will reserve this for actually blasting them.
There's only one of him.
Yeah, no, this would be a different dragon. This would be like a fucking raven dragon.
I mean, I don't know.
Since it's a duplication.
I don't know if duplicating this, if he would be duplicating
the spell
my
or the
feature?
dragon,
or if he's just copying the 5th level spell with Summon Draconic Spirit.
It's copying the 5th level spell.
Okay.
Though, I will reserve this spell slot for blasting.
Sounds good. So, again, as you are all on Spectral Dragonback, riding towards this face-off against this incredibly powerful dragon, this is where we are going to call it for tonight's session. So, again, we're going to be back in 2 weeks. So thank you all who decided to stop on by and join us for tonight's wonderful game of Dungeons & Dragons. I know it went a different direction than a lot of us thought that it was going to, but...
Draconian Speedrunner.
Draconian Speedrunner.
Summer games done quick. It's going all week. Doctors Without Borders.
Oh, I should watch that at work.
Yeah. It's great. It's great background noise.
And
I
RJ.
watch that shit to go to sleep.
Considering that you just spoke up about some things that you can watch at work, where can we find you? What do you do?
At work, mostly. But no, hi everybody, I'm RJ. You can catch me at RJustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about the nerdy things in my life and sometimes stream with my friends. Catch me here Mondays and Sundays. Mondays as Caelum, the Shattered Kai Wizard. Sundays as Vice, the Tiefling Rogue Warlock. It's getting fun over on the Witchlight. We have a new party member. Rest in peace, Pam. Thursdays over at GGK, where we do Elegant Creatures, which is a Good Society and Urban Shadows hack, where we Lord, I have enough points to change playbooks. It's gonna be fun. I'm thinking about picking up The Sworn. Saturdays over at GK again for both Pathfinder and our new game coming up using the game system Parslings. It's a deck building game where you essentially fish for successes using a deck of cards. It's called Ward 47, so check us out for Session 0, not next week, the week after, Danae? Yes. We'll be back there on the 23rd. Other than that, that's it for me. Oh, if you want to see me be a dumb gangrel boy from Vampire the Masquerade, go over to Lore by Night, where I just got turned. I don't know what's going on. Help. DanaeKeener.com.
Baby vampire. So small. Hello, I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters and the Twitches, where I am live every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday on my channel, except for this Friday, because I will have friends in town. Tomorrow I'll be streaming Dead by Daylight in the afternoon. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, because there's a new playtest stuff going on. There's a lot of changes, so we're going to be talking about it, and also playing some fun games. And then on Sunday, we're back for our no, we're not doing Heroes in Training. It's Fighting for the Gods, where I get to play D&D with my friends and run sessions for them. We have a bunch of new people, well, a couple new people. Alex and Val are joining us on that game. Season 2 is in full swing, and they're going to start in combat, because I want to see what they can do before I make other encounters when they're all up in the clouds. So they're going to start... it's going to be a little bit of Spelljammer, maybe just a sprinkle in there, but they're going to be traversing the ethereal planes and the ancestral sea and all that sort of fun stuff. So, but yeah, that's all my stuff. JanaeKeener.com.
Ahoy, I'm Cyber. You can find me here on Mondays. That's all I'm doing right now. JanaeKeener.com.
Speaking of DanaeKeener.com, hi everybody, I'm Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. You can also find me at Danae Keener on Twitter. I've got a pinned tweet there with my schedule, which I need to update since Star Power has concluded. We will be playing Ward 47, which is the Parslings game that RJ mentioned. Tomorrow I'm going to be over at GGK playing Squire Squad, so if you want to see a very fun masks game where I'm a vampiric plant person, come check it out, DanaeKeener.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We just have shows like this on Monday, Thursday, and Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And all of our games are currently being made available for free on youtube.com/Indoor Adventures, or anywhere audio casts are being made available for free. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/Indoor Adventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us again at patreon.com/Indoor Adventures, and we will do our best to respond to those questions in kind. Easiest way to join us, like I said, Patreon, or join us on Discord. You know, come hang out with the cast and crew. You can listen to me talk about Riverdale and how much I love a terrible show. It's so bad and I can't stop watching this train wreck happening in slow motion. But
The Goblin King!
The Goblin King! There's lots of stuff that you can check up on with the Discord. I highly recommend it. But for now, we are going to be heading into that after show, so I would like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop by. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye!